Hey, brothers and sisters. Today I'm going to talk about the Valkyria, which is a very mysterious feminine figure, divine nature, kind of a desire, a spiritual being nonetheless, that is a servant of Odin. And um, much like other servants, they are like the extension of Odin in the field of work, in his fields of work. Valkyria. Val means beyond, like the Vol Father, the Father of the beyond, the Father beyond the veil. So these are entities beyond the veil. These entities beyond the veil are and manage the souls of high initiates. They help and support the souls of high initiates in their inner processes. Either if the inner processes happen beyond the veil during life or after life. So a Valkyria can also be a Nornir, can also be a rune master initiate, like Brunhilda for Sigurd. So Valkyria is not always a Valkyria. It is a function of the same entity, like Skuld is the Nornir of the future, but also on the battlefield, she is the one who decides who will fall in battle. And if we look at this, we need to understand who the Einherjar are. The Einherjar are heroes who have fallen in battle, and this is a highly symbolical language that is meant to be understood by the farmer caste ad literam or the warrior caste ad literam, and is meant to be understood by the ruling class from the perspective of the runes. We are gonna present here now the esoteric perspective on the Valkyrias. And they are highly worshipped and they are fearsome maidens. They are of many races, like Skuldj's Jotun Valkyria, for example. Brunhilda is definitely a human Valkyria, as we have seen in the Sigdri Fumal, where she actually initiates and presents a prayer, one of the oldest prayer in the Eddas. So the Valkyrias, from an esoteric perspective, beyond the academical pursuits and beyond the what people like to think, and they tell themselves it's very smart to tell yourself about them. They are real entities to me, and these real entities come in all shapes and sizes, but they are very fearsome. They are protectors, they are revengers, and they are also guides after death, and they are also guides during life, and they are also the ones who initiate one into the rune mysteries also. So if we are looking at the Valkyrias, Skuld is one of them. She's associated with fate. She decides the fate of warriors in battle at an exoteric level and at esoteric level. Skuld decides and sees when are you gonna face your own Yggdrasil moment. Skogul is also has also the same function as Skuld, but she's also helping the selection of the elect warriors. She's helping Odin pick up the souls that are worthy of him. So Skogul is indeed a Valkyria that helps with the wisdom of selection. Basically, the chosen ones are selected by Skogu. Gunnar is the personification of war when the Valkyrias ride upon the battlefield. That is Gunnar. We cannot speak here that it's about one Valkyria, but mainly it's like an action because spirits like this can run in flocks. Sorry. Hildur. Hildur is a Valkyria that resurrects warriors who have fallen in battle. From an esoteric point of view, Hildur is the resurrection of the soul. After a great transformation has taken place, Hildur takes care of this resurrection of the soul. After one has reached a state of death and rebirth on his own Yggdrasil moment, Hildur is the one picking you up from the spiritual grave, giving you a new life, a new fate. Hildur. Gondul. Gondul sends you to transformation. And it and she's the one who judges the fate of the transformation itself. Geir Skogul, the spear shaker, she's also selecting the slain in battle. Esoterically speaking, the spear shaker is the energy that shakes your spine when you are being reborn spiritually. Heria. Heria is about the ravaging energy in your body during the process of death and rebirth and initiation. Randgrider. Randgrider breaks the boundaries that are not supposed to be there, breaks unnatural boundaries of your own fate. It is a boundary breaker at an esoteric level, even though she is called the shield breaker. She has also some occult applications for sure. Regin Leif, choosing the slain also. But here it's about the initiates. Priest also is the shaker, the chaos after death and rebirth into the light of the runes, the necessary chaos that happens after a great rebirth is taking place. And mist. Mist is the veil itself. So we have here actually a progression somehow. These entities are entities of the mist. They help you pass the veil. They help you and they assist the Einherjar reach Valhalla. And in all the spiritual processes, fear not when you start your road towards the mid of poetry and you reach some stages of initiation. Do you really think entities are not seeing it? Do you really think the gods are not noticing transformations if they happen at a very deep level? Yes, they are. So the Valkyrias are your helpers, the helpers of the followers of Odin. Yes, I mean, Valkyrias will not help someone who's from another tradition necessarily, like an initiate. So these are titles and also categories of entities. I don't believe it's one Hilder. I believe for every initiate or a few initiates have benefit from at least one entity of this kind that visits them and helps them through the process of death and rebirth. So these are highly potent, I would say, much akin to the devas. They are fearsome entities, fearsome beings. One would mention them in a certain order in order to affect certain processes inside his energetic body, that's for sure. But it must be done with head, it must be done with heart, and it must be done with initiation. Sigbrifa, they also initiate into the runes. Come on. So they guide the soul to the process of death and rebirth. They initiate into the runes. They hold your hand through death and pain and fog and war and chaos. They are entities that are sent by Odin himself to uplift, protect, guide, and transform. Here also is a Valkyria, guys. She heals the processes after deep transformation. So, what can I say? Highly complex entities and definitely worth hailing and definitely worth working with. And definitely they have a purpose if you know what you're doing. So, I would say at this point, hail Valkyrie. May the Valkyrias guide you towards the step of initiation. And whomever has a big ego and will not even consider whatever I said here. But it's a joy to the heart, and it should be a joy to your deeper soul to hear this knowledge being kind of brought to life in our own souls, in our own hearts, in a way in which you have never seen before, spiritually speaking. So many rune masters of the world, of the old, like the last century or something, they ignored the Edda like no tomorrow in their works. They were not even able to make and to extract a full-on system from the Eddas of runes. They all went on for their egos. They all went on for their shows of how grandiose they were and whatnot. The system and the runes and the knowledge was a lot about them and a lot less about the real tradition, I would say. But now things have changed because if you stay long enough in your knees at the door of knowledge, eventually the gods will get bored of you and they will start to teach you. That's what happened with me. So I'm just saying, Valkyrias are very important. Einherjar are actually the beings who have reached a certain level of perfection, let's say. And yeah, see you at another video. We talked about the Valkyrias a bit and their real esoteric meaning. A bit just, come on, guys. Okay. So, hail to our friends, hail to our kin, and ooh onto the enemies. Ooh onto the enemies that represent ignorance and ego and hate and envy and ooh onto the inner enemies of ourselves and especially against our own darker selves that we must transcend through the process of death and rebirth, to the process of becoming actually one with the process. It's not you and the process, and it's not you, it's not the process happening in you. It is the you becoming the process, actually. Your thoughts, your emotions are the Valkyrias, are the Jotuns, and are the Aesir, are the Vanir. If you get to understand this, you're a long way into the practice. Hail to you.